and just to look to you, Father. Lord, first of all, I would like to say that we say we're a nation, Father God, that we got it printed on our money. In God we trust, Lord. But we have fell so far away from you, Father God, that this thing has just, you allowed this thing to come upon this whole world, Father. I just pray that we just realize the need to have you in our lives, Lord, the need to turn to you, Lord, and humble ourselves before you so you'll heal our land, Lord. I just thank you for that. Father, I ask your blessings upon this tribal council meeting tonight, Lord. Help us to and lead us in the way that we should go, Father God, to do the things that you would have us to do for our people. Father, I just pray that you just eradicate this virus from our land. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. As you remain standing, Brother Terry, would you lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we remain standing, I would ask Mr. Dewey, if he would, to lead us in our preamble to the tribal constitution.
In accordance with the inherent power, self-governance of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina, the tribe adopts this constitution for the purposes of establishing a tribal government structure, preserving for all time the Lumbee way of life and community, promoting the educational, cultural, social, and economic well-being of Lumbee people, and securing justice and freedom for the Lumbee people.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion that we allow Miss Wendy to act as our secretary tonight due to the absence of Miss Sharon.
I'll second your motion.
Second.
And moved in second. All in favor of that, let it know by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Miss Wendy. This time, Miss Wendy, if you would do our roll call.
Rebecca Barfield.
Here.
Sharon Hunt is absent. Gerald Goolsby.
Here.
James Benny Hunt is absent. Pam absent. Ed Woodell is absent. Wendy Moore Graham here. Jared Lowry.
Here.
Larry Chavis.
Here.
Douglas Locklear is absent. Reginald Oxendine.
Here.
Yvonne Dial. Alvin Mercer. Corbin Eddings.
Here.
Joy McNeil. Marshall Locklear. Frank Cooper is
Here.
Shelley Strickland.
Here.
Michael Chavis. Absent. Ricky Burnett.
Here.
Terry Hunt.
Here.
Mr. Speaker, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Miss Wendy. We have a quorum. At this time, I would like to read our ethics statement. And it states, in accordance with the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Ordinance 2010-0312-01, it is the duty of every council member to avoid both conflicts of interest and the appearances of a conflict of interest with regards to any matters before the council today. Does any council member have a known conflict of interest or any perceived conflicts of interest with respect to any matters coming before the council today? If so, please refrain from participation in those particular deliberations during the meeting. Again, let me say we welcome, and I want to say to the council tonight, we thank you for coming so that we can take care of this business of our tribe and be able to take and move forward. And I would ask that any council member, once you addressed, if you would speak, please, directly into your mic. And I would like to say to our tribal membership, you may not see some because we're trying to be spread out in accordance. We have Mr. Gerald, Mr. Jared, Mr. Alvin, and Mr. Shelley, who are sitting out in the back there. You have anything? At this time, I would like to review and approval of our agenda.
Mr. Speaker,
Corbin.
in light of our current situation with the coronavirus, it has come to our attention of an update that needs to be made to our duties and decorum. So I would ask that we add duties and decorum on the agenda for tonight directly after the economic development ordinance.
I'll second that.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. That's somebody's phone. At this time, if we could get a motion to, as we review and approve of the February Tribal Council minutes and actions.
Make a motion to approve the tribal council minutes and actions, sir.
A second.
And moved in second. All in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We do not have any community comments. At this time, the chair would recognize Dr. Reginald Oxendine, Constitution and Ordinance. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Supreme Court of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina appointment is COLR 2020. It's coming out of committee. I'll read the third whereas. The Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina authorizes the tribal chairperson and the tribal council to make nominations and appointments to the Supreme Court of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. And whereas the Constitution of Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina authorizes the tribal council of Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina to appoint the nominee, and therefore be it resolved that the tribal council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby confirm the nominee, Mr. Mark Brooks, to the Supreme Court of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. Therefore, be it even further resolved upon the swearing in, Mr. Mark Brooks will serve a 5-year term on the Supreme Court of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina.
You have heard this report, again, coming from committee. It requires no second. Is there any question or any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Secretary, would you do a roll call?
Rebecca Sparfield.
Yes.
Sharon Hunt is absent. Gerald Goolsby.
Pass.
James B. Hunt is absent. Pam Hunt is absent. Ted Woodell is absent. Yes. Jared Lowry.
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Douglas Locklear is absent. Reginald Oxendine.
Yes.
Yvonne Dial. Alvin Mercer.
Yes.
Corbin Eddings.
Yes.
Joy McNeil.
Yes.
Marshall Locklear. Frank Cooper.
Yes.
Shelley Strickland. Michael Chavis is absent. Ricky Burnett.
Yes.
Harry Hunt.
Yes.
Back to Mr. Goolsby.
Abstain.
Mr. Gerald, once you pass, when it comes back, it has to, okay. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Did you want for him to be,
Yes, he's
Sworn
here
in.
to be sworn in.
okay. At this
It
time,
does carry, by the way.
okay, thank you. At this time, we'd asked Josh Malcolm and Mr. Brooks, if you would come forward for your swearing in. If we would stand.
I knew Mr. Percy Brooks right down the street, so I've known Mark's family for some time. I remember Mr. Percy and Mr. Percy's wife. I used to draw little dirt roads in the backyard and play with Mark's cousin Audrey with our little Hot Wheel cars. Joshua Malcolm, I'm the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, but I'm really here on behalf of the other members, which include Mary Beth Locklear, Mr. Everett Moore, Ms. Teresa Locklear, myself, and then, of course, Mark is replacing Matt Scott, who did a fine job on behalf of the people. Mark, I understand you're going to affirm, is that correct? If you'd raise your right hand. I state your full name.
I, Mark Simeon Dufresne Brooks,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina,
the Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina,
that I will carry out faithfully
that I will carry out faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and that I will preserve
and that I will preserve
for all time
for all time
the Lumbee way of life
the Lumbee way of life
and community,
and community,
that I will promote educational,
that I will promote educational,
cultural,
cultural,
social,
social,
and economic well-being
and economic well-being
of the Lumbee tribe,
of the Lumbee tribe,
and that I will strive
and that I will strive
to secure justice
to secure justice
and freedom
and freedom
for the Lumbee people.
for the Lumbee people.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. At this time, the chair would recognize Mr. Corbin Eddings, Chairman of the Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am honored to bring before you CLLO 020-0326-01 on behalf of the Economic Development Committee, Lumbee Tribal Holdings Incorporated Financial Reporting Requirements. If I could draw your attention down, this will be a little lengthy, but I'll make it as quick and painless as possible to the fourth whereas. Whereas the Lumbee Tribal Council has the fiduciary responsibility for the approval of the budget and all budget amendments. And whereas the following reporting schedule shall be the periods by which information in the form of an oral report shall be presented to the Lumbee Tribal Council by the Lumbee Tribal Holdings chairperson or an LTH designee. Also, 1 week before each presentation date, the Lumbee Tribal Council shall be provided a written report. The first written report shall be delivered to the Lumbee Tribal Council Treasurer no later than May 28, 2020. First quarter, January through March, written report no later than the last Thursday of May, oral report no later than the first Thursday of June. Second quarter, April through June, written report no later than the last Thursday of August, oral report no later than the first Thursday of September. Third quarter, July to September, written report no later than the last Wednesday of November, oral report no later than the first Thursday of December. Fourth quarter, October through December, written report no later than the last Thursday of February, oral report no later than the first Thursday of March. Whereas, if Lumbee Tribal Holdings is unable to meet these deadlines for any reason, to include reporting delays from an affiliated company, a written notice from an LTH designee shall be provided to the Economic Development Chairperson at least 2 weeks prior to the due date of the written report set forth above. Such notice shall include a revised submission date and explanation and must receive acknowledgement of receipt and consent of the Economic Development Committee. Whereas the following documents listed below shall be provided to the Lumbee Tribal Council by the LTH chairperson or an LTH designee 1 week before each oral report. Lumbee Tribal Holdings Incorporated, number 1, LTH bylaws, initial and subsequent changes only. Number 2, an LTH balance sheet. Number 3, LTH profit and loss statement for all companies with LTH ownership. Number 4, LTH consolidated combined audit report. Number 5, LTH board meeting minutes. Number 6, LTH variance report. Number 7, an awarded contracts report with amount and contract length to the extent allowed by federal law or regulation. Therefore, be it enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance cited as Lumbee Tribal Holdings Incorporated Financial Reporting Requirements.
Thank you, Mr. Corbin. Again, this coming from committee, it requires no second. Is there any question, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Rebecca Barfield,
Yes.
Karen Hunt is absent, Gerald Goolsby,
Yes.
James Hunt is absent, Pam Hunt, Ed Woodell is absent, Wendy Moore Graham, yes. Jared Lowry,
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Douglas Locklear is absent, Reginald Oxendine,
Yes.
Yvonne Dial, Alvin Mercer, Corbin Eddings, Dewey McNeil,
Yes.
Earl Locklear,
Yes.
Frank Cooper,
Yes.
Kelly Strickland. Michael Chavis is absent. Ricky Burnett.
Yes.
Harry Hunt.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Speaker, if I could.
Yes, sir.
I neglected to do this prior, but I thank you all so much for helping get that passed. And in particular, I would like to thank Mr. Jared Lowry and the Economic Development Committee from this past year for all your hard work. Thank you so much. Great job.
Right, thank you. As Mr. Corbin had previously asked that we add our duties and decorum for the tribal council. And that is one reason why we wanted to try to get this, because of this coronavirus that's going around and the rules that are out. No more than said amount of people is keeping a certain distance. At one time, we had where we could do teleconference phone calls, but it was done away with some time back. And if I could draw your attention, and I don't know if you've got copies, do you guys have, did they get a copy of it? Okay. But I mean the Lumbee Tribe decorum, duties and decorum. Okay. If I could draw your attention to the standing rules, Section 2, Tribal Council Business Meetings. Section 2, Tribal Council Business Meetings. And if you turn the page and number 11, it reads as this. There shall be no teleconference calls during the course of a meeting of the Lumbee Tribal Council, including special called meetings and committee meetings. No council member shall be allowed to vote by teleconference on any issue at any meeting. What we would like to present to the body, it would to change that, to completely do away with number 11 the way it is, that it would read as follows. All council and committee meetings must be held in person, with the only exceptions being, number 1, tribally declared state of emergency, or number 2, North Carolina declared state of emergency, or number 3, national declared state of emergency, or number 4, natural disasters declared on tribal territory. These meetings can be held via teleconference, video conference, etc., and must provide two-way communication during the entire meeting. The method being utilized must be stated at the opening of the meeting. Council members utilizing this method must identify themselves clearly before speaking. The location where the council member presiding over the meeting is physically located must be open to the public during the meeting. A council member participating by video conference call will be counted as present at the meeting for all purposes, but it is considered absent from any portion of the meeting during which audio or video communication with the member is lost or disconnected. Any questions on this?
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Jared?
so will this be for any meeting of the tribal council? Regular scheduled business meeting, special call meeting, emergency meeting?
Yeah,
So all meetings?
all council and committee meetings.
Mr. Speaker, are we in the section we can debate this idea? Okay. So my opinion, which I feel that I am in a minority, but I'm still gonna state it, is that I agree with committee meetings, special call meetings, emergency call meetings, but I believe that in our regularly scheduled business meeting that we have once a month, it is of my opinion that we should always do it in person. We do have the ability to postpone meetings. We could have postponed tonight's meeting if we wanted to. But I think that us being all of us together in one room in front of the people, to me, that's important. And I mean, it may not really be important to some other folks. And technology is great, and technology makes things a whole lot easier. I just think there should be one time that the public should be able to come and see all their elected members in one room. But that's my opinion. That's what I state. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Mr. Gerald?
Mr. Speaker, I kind of disagree with that. To have the meetings because there is issues that comes up where we physically cannot make it because of stuff like this. There's people here tonight that probably wouldn't be here, but it was a necessity to do this so we can have meetings. But also would like to see inputted on there that the community would have a method or a way of submitting questions or some statement that can be read of some sort that they could have some involvement. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't you know, they'll still adhere to the 3-minute rule, so to speak, but have some way of having them to input on our regular council business meeting.
Well, I was just going to mention there is a statement in there that states that whoever's presiding over the meeting, that area wherever that person is physically located at must be open to the public during that meeting. So folks are able, even though there may be 5 or so ever how many 10 on a teleconference, video conference, still it has public access. Individuals can come in, speak for their 3 minutes.
It'd be kind of hard as the speaker to keep up with those comments, so someone else would possibly need to be available to get those comments. And then at a particular time in the meeting, they assign that time so it can be handed to you to read, or ever who's on the conducting the meetings, because it's kind of hard to keep up with that in the meetings when you're doing it, I'm sure.
Ms. Wendy?
We have a copy of that because I'm pretty good at remembering, but that was just too much to be cognitive about.
Y'all keep me straight, I'm sorry. And I could say, Mr. Gerald, because through the, what I want to say, the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs, when we have to, and we just had one, the number, once the access, if the number's put out, people could actually call in, you know what I'm saying? But we would have to address them as we do at our regular meeting by saying, you got your 3 minutes, we don't respond, and then there's no other interaction, you know, with the public at that time. So, because we have, and I was notified today, the Lumbee Tribe has now a Zoom account that we can utilize to do teleconference in our meetings if it's so deemed necessary. Over here, Mr. Terry?
One of the things we gotta remember, it's only in a national or state emergency. Lord forbid that we have any more. You know, maybe it's just a one-time thing a year, I don't know, ever what the Lord intends for it to have. But my thing is just for these emergencies that we do it.
Yeah, and that's, on the sheet, that's what it's stating, just for those. Any other questions, discussion?
Mr. Speaker, so just to clarify, if committee chair needs to set up a meeting, we'll facilitate that through Ms. Belinda, and she would get all the bells and whistles ready for us to do it.
Right.
Okay.
She would give you the, you know, the number you have to plug into, you know, to be able to go on that account, the phone number and all that. And then people would come in and do your roll call and know who's present for those. Mr. Frank?
My experience this past week, I've learned a lot from Zoom, and it's face to face.
Yep.
Face to face.
Good, good. Somebody, I thought I saw another hand. Any others?
Got a question.
Miss Wendy?
It says the location where the council member presiding over the meeting is physically located must be open to the public. Can you all explain that to me? Because I don't know that we all have telecom available in every.
Mr. Speaker. Basically what that's saying is, under normal circumstances, Preacher Ricky would be presiding, of course, over all of our council meetings. But wherever that council meeting is occurring, it's got to be open to the public. So for instance, whoever is chair over a committee, if you're going to have a committee meeting, wherever that committee meeting's held, it's going to have to be open to the public if we do any kind of video conference, which would mean basically you would have to be.
Speaking geographically, physically, geographically.
Geographically,
If-
yeah. Is it,
Are you saying it'd have to, if I presided, it'd have to be in District 5? Is it kind of gives me that
No,
connotation.
that you would, where the meeting's held has to be open to the public. He couldn't conduct a teleconference meeting from his home with no public access and nobody being able to do it. Even though we're in a state of emergency, we still have to have it open to the public.
Marshall?
So clarify to me why that would be in there, because if we're in a state of emergency, we and if you can come together and have the public there, what's the point? We don't need teleconference because we can all meet. That to me is kind of null. Not saying anything against what Jared is saying, I understand his point, but that to me just makes no sense, because if we can meet in a public place that the public can come and be available, then there's no point in having a teleconference. Everybody should be able to get here at some point.
Okay?
Just explain to me why what's it for?
Well, and I concur with, on that one, and what I would suggest is scratch it,
Yeah, well, excuse me. The
line
up-
that one out.
The open to the public is the access for the website or ever how they communicate, not where I'm physically at. I mean, that's what it needs to be. They don't need to know if I'm at my house or having to stay with Brother Ricky because my house is blowed up or whatever. They shouldn't care where I'm at. They should be able to be involved in the meeting if they want to be. It's what the key is on it. That's the main thing.
If we were doing a Zoom face-to-face meeting as a council or committee or whatever, and the person keeping up with, the Zoom account and all, could also do Facebook Live, and the people could actually speak or chat questions or participate through that way, and without ever coming up here. Mr. Ricky, one more thing. Go back to Miss Marshall. When we had the last hurricane, it wasn't as bad over where I live as it was coming towards this way. But I was just trying to make it to Laurinburg, and I'm telling you, a 12-minute drive, it took me an hour and 10 minutes to figure out how to get there. The Campbell Soup Bridge was flooded. I mean, I had to turn around every which way but loose. So over where I'm at, it wasn't that bad, but getting here was different.
But I understand that, but as a county and as a state, we weren't traveling to have meetings. It was too dangerous for people. So if it's dangerous, we don't need to have somebody thinking they need to come here just so they can answer a question. That shouldn't be an option. If we're having a teleconference, it doesn't have to be in a public area where people can try to come, because then you endanger people who want to come and make whatever statement they want to make.
Corbin?
I don't know whether we delete that sentence or what we do, because there's a couple of things that we got to remember. As Ms. Moore just mentioned, that of course it's in our Constitution, it has to be open. And then also, if you look in Section 2, Number 8, we still have to allow time for community remarks. So I don't know how we do that without making sure that the person conducting the meeting is available to the public. I don't know if we just change this sentence or if we delete this sentence, but it's something that we still are going to have to do, even during states of emergency. We're teleconferencing, we still got to figure out a way to let the community be involved.
Question now, far as tonight, it's not open to the public tonight. So what would be the difference? If that would, how would they be involved? I mean, how are they involved tonight versus if we have another pandemic that we can't get them? You know what I'm saying?
Actually tonight on Facebook, when it was put out by the tribe, it said that we were asking folks. We didn't tell anyone they couldn't, but we did ask them for their safety, that they considered the situation.
Mr. Speaker, I say we scratch it since it's already in the other parts of our duties in the quorum. We're just going to be repeating ourselves, and we'll just let the technical person make it work for the public. They won't get the Zoom number, but they'll be able to communicate through the way Mr. Frank mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Mr. Ricky, if the technical person is videotaping or whatever, they can have that Facebook Live going, and persons that are typing or asking questions, he can relate that to us that we can answer, or their community comments.
The others? Scratch it.
Or what if they presented ahead of, they want to do a written statement that they want presented to the community, and then it'd be read by the speaker at the meeting, who it was from, what district, and then their response.
it's put in there a method through technology to communicate, not actually where Ricky Burnett is sitting at.
It needs to be stated that the community will always have access
Okay,
to comment,
good.
on any issues, that the council's address.
Okay. You want to add that part in there, Ms. Whitney, down at the bottom?
Modern technology.
Huh? Okay.
Want to delete this, or
I would say delete the one that says the location in that last statement that you just made, that they will always have access, you know what I'm saying? As we were saying,
Through
either,
modern technology.
yeah, through this modern technology, you know, let us know
but
that
if
we
you,
can.
if you say access, you're not limited to any particular venue. You can use all venues at that point.
The others?
We making this change.
And I can't, as a speaker, I can't make the motion. I'm
Is
just,
the chairman gonna make the change? Do we need to make a motion to make the changes? Or how's that?
need a motion to make this,
Mr. Speaker, I'm gonna make the motion to accept this with the changes Ms. Winnie's gonna put forth with it.
okay?
Second.
Moved and second. Any other discussion?
Just to clarify, that's killing that and making it available.
Yeah, yeah. Let her finish writing, then we'll do a roll call. And while she's writing, I will just quickly, you have before you, from the tribal chairman, update some things from tribal administrator that is taking place right now that they're doing, which is trying to suspend mortgage rental payments for all tribal housing represented, you know, for the month of April. Disaster recovery, you know, helping out with their mortgage and things like that, requirements that they've got to have, and so many other issues that you see before you there. And again, they had added that I told you, they have established the Zoom account that we'll be able to utilize and do these conference, you know, teleconference calls.
One more question concerning this, because I was asking some questions through the text. This is not an ordinance, say, it can be immediately in effect, so
Yeah.
any meetings that we want to have
Yeah.
after this is voted in, we can go ahead and schedule it.
Right. And then, Mr. Gerald, saying you're the chairman of ethics, you would need to contact Miss Belinda and say, you know, this is the date, I need to get this set up. And she would text out to everybody that's on your committee, well, the whole tribal council that wanted to be, you know, in there with it.
Just to clarify on the Zoom account, I don't have to have internet to be able to access that. I could do that just through my phone to call in. I don't have to be on a computer or something. I could do both. I could do either or with that. Okay.
Zoom is amazing. Just won't work on tin cans with a string.
But the string's long enough.
Yeah. You ready, Miss Wendy? Roll call vote? Oh, you want to read that? Go ahead.
I just want everybody to know what's being put in it. We're going to delete the location where the council member presiding over the meeting is physically located must be open to the public during the meeting, and say the tribal membership will be given access to community comments on any meetings held via teleconference, video conference, and etc.
Sounds good. That's good. That's good. You want to do your roll call? Thank you.
So we will be voting on CLLR 0326-02, which is the amendment of the tribal decorum. Who made the motion? Who did the second? Now, roll call. Sorry about that, but I was tied up on other business.
All right.
Harveka Barfield.
Yes.
Sharon Hunt is absent. Gerald Goolsby.
Yes.
James Benny Hunt is absent. Woodell is absent. Jared Lowry.
No.
Mary Chavis.
Yes.
Douglas Locklear is absent. Reginald Oxendine. Yvonne Dial.
Yes.
Corbin Eddings. Joey McNeil. Cheryl Locklear. Cooper.
Yes.
Will Chavis is absent.
Yes,
Terry Hunt.
Yes.
thank you.
Mr. Speaker, one more thing. The absent members that couldn't make it as it relates to this virus thing, I think we should have some kind of comment as related to them not being here as far as do we accept, is it forgiven or how does that work? I mean, it's a state of emergency.
I understand where you're coming from, but by our rules before, it's only due to sickness or what is it, hospitalization, a death in the immediate family. They took away work and all that, Mr. Joe. I understand what you. If I could draw your attention to the April's calendar.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Economic Development Committee, Monday, April 6th at 6:30. Oh, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Anybody got anything for March? Yeah, I said April. I didn't think we had anything else. Today's the 26th, so, I mean, not unless you,
April 6th, Economic Development, 6:30.
April 6th, Economic Development, 6:30.
Mr. Speaker,
Dr. Reginald,
I follow that at 7:30.
Constitution Ordinance, 7:30. Housing at 8:30. Anything else in April?
Gonna do, federal recognition at 6:30 on April the 7th.
Federal recognition, 6:30, April the 7th. Health at 7:30. Anything else?
April 9th, my 59th birthday.
All right, woo.
I hope I make
You'll get it. Anything else? Okay. I would point out to you that April the 15th, tax due, that's been extended to July the 15th.
Great.
Ms. Wendy.
We do have a vote that was done on the agriculture and economic development. I think that it will be valid the 27th.
Suspend the rules and amend the agenda and vote for a chairman of the committee.
We have to elect a chairman and officers, and we also have to sign up for that subcommittee.
Yeah, well, I'll let the smart people figure that out. I don't know.
Mr. Speaker, I make a motion, we put that on the next tribal council meeting's agenda. Vote for those chairs on it.
Would that work, Mr.? But you still, because the other's not to the 27th,
It would have
correct?
to be a tribal council meeting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Couldn't do it in a committee.
But that would eliminate a whole month.
I mean, we're gonna call a special meeting to do that?
Yeah, because it's not due till the 27th, right? Okay. Okay, we do it. Anything else? Help? Education? So I would say, because we know that right now we're still closed down, so economic, CNO, housing, whoever gets it established for your teleconference call. Okay? Anything else for the body? Let me say to you, be safe, take care of yourself. If you know any elders that live close by you, if you can, just check on them. Make sure if they need certain things, you know. Mr. Frank?
Everybody should know, but the scholarship has been extended to April the 27th due to students having a hard time getting transcripts, schools closed and all this.
Did I do that right? I did a motion. It needs to be a suggestion. Is that gonna work the 16th as far as the timing goes? On
Yeah,
the
it will
approvals?
work.
Is that good? Do we have, I don't know.
The 16th, because what you
The
got to be done
timing will
by the
be up with it
27th. Yeah.
posted and everything, is what I'm saying. Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn, sir.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. If everyone will stand. I asked Dr. Reginald if he would to dismiss us in a word of prayer.
Pray, I would ask everybody to remember the family of Mr. Jerry Gordon, founding father of Guilford Native American Association.
Also, the Dale Dease's family, he lost his father. Was he funeralized Monday, I believe? But remember that family also.
Father, we give you thanks this time we've joined together, and we're just so thankful that you're with us through the sickness and the health. We just thank you, Lord, for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. And as we make the decisions for the tribe, Lord, just be with us as we go our separate ways. Give us traveling mercies. Give us a hand of protection upon each one of us and each one of our tribal members. Let us, through your peace, Lord, as we go through these difficult times, feel the peace that passes all understanding. And give us strength to carry on. Let us be encouragers. Let's look up to you for our physical and spiritual strength. In Christ's name we pray.
Amen.